Start that recording. Shiro, what's up, man? How you doing? And I think we can just get into this. Let me change the... Yeah, okay. So first piece. Boodle, how you doing? All right, let's... Oh, thank you for the resub. Super appreciated. All right, first up here. I'm going to just put me down here. I'm like, yeah, I look all right over here, right? Obi-Wan, what's up? I'm doing good. What about you? Feeling completely good today? Still have the cough. Oh, man. So, Bray. Bray is up first. Wait, what is that? Okay, I got 4 images here. Yeah. Cool. So, Bray's saying, I started turning the scene into a amalgamation between Fallout 3 and Nuketown from Call of Duty. That's amazing. Where a scene of mannequins having a party has been abandoned and frozen in time. That is a great way to frame this. This is amazing. Okay. For me, layout composition is nearing completion, and the focus would be on adding further wear and tear, torn wallpaper, cobwebs, missing mannequin limbs, dirt and grime. I mean, if it's abandoned, I guess the mannequin limbs wouldn't be missing. They would just kind of fall into the ground around the characters, right? It would be really interesting to put some dust on the ground and maybe just like even add some footprints so it looks like maybe the mannequins have even moved. Yeah, torn wallpaper, cobwebs, missing mannequin limbs, dirt, and grime through vertex painting, decals, and authoring unique textures to really solidify the story and concept. Also, first attempt at making characters, which was super fun, but it definitely needs work. However, I'm putting that on the back burner since first and foremost, I'm aiming to work on environments professionally. Right. So, let's take again. So this is great with the mannequins, and I like the stylized direction that you've taken with the mannequins, because it almost puts it in a it's a stylized look for mannequins, and it sets a time period, right? That's really cool. The characters, I think, are a great addition, and I could not have thought of a better way to rationalize a space like this. It looks like you're still getting through some of the texturing phase, and working on adding more wear and tear to sell the destruction and wear of the scene that's been left to deteriorate. Yeah, Alex, that's a great reference for something like this. Would be a nuke testing footage on YouTube. They use houses and show the aftermaths. So I guess the idea is this is abandoned but did not experience the test itself, right? So if you're wondering where you post for feedback, if you look in the announcements channel, you will see a link to the thread, and that's where you post for your feedback. But I mean, this is looking pretty good. I think with the geometry, everything is looking pretty nice. It's more about the hard edges that I'm seeing everywhere. Really need to make sure to add bevels and just break up those hard edges. That way we're not feeling like we're looking at geometry. Like back here, it's feeling all right. The edges on the frame here could be a little bit I don't know. They could be softer, or because they're beveled, they soften up a bit. But yeah, just to repeat for anyone in chat who wants feedback, if you join the Discord, which is !Discord, there's the link. Join the Discord. There is a channel called Announcements, and you'll see a link to a thread based off of the post for critiques for this evening. But let's keep on keeping on. So, given this scene, I think it's more about the wear and tear that you're talking about. I'd be really curious to see the wallpaper and like these what are these called? These flyer type strand details for the party. I guess I would expect them to be on the ground, and depending on how long this has been branded or been abandoned. Streamers like you. Ribbons. Yeah, they're streamers, yes. They should just be on the ground. Like, how long ago was this abandoned? That should tell you a lot, right? I think in a test facility like this as well, they would use real plants because they would want to see what happens. Hey, Delaney, thanks for the resub, man. Super appreciated. They'd want to see the effects on plants as well in the apartment. You know what I mean? So these would likely be alive as well. And if it was abandoned a long time ago, streamers being on the ground or barely hanging, peeling paint, peeling wallpaper, dead plants, empty balloons, the whole sad shebang. But yeah, I think it's looking pretty cool. Again, just watch out for the hard edges on things. Even if it's quite a hard edge in real life, I would add a bevel of some sort to just get some highlight on the edge there. It's like Call of Duty knows I'm talking about them with Nuketown and all that. I just got an email from them. But looking pretty cool. Looking pretty cool. I like this kind of slash presentation thing too. The aging that you're showing here is very subtle. I think it'll depend a lot on, like, if it's dust, it's going to be a roughness shift, right? And not so much like an albedo change. The wear on the wood is going to be dependent on like where it's happening, and like I guess if there was like what's mounted to what, and kind of the aging process that just happens naturally. It's meant to be torn carpet. Okay, that is not coming through right now. But I think if you do that adding some color and variation, wear and peeling, it's going to help a lot. Because if it's a number of things that need to be happening to the surface in order to really like bring that kind of look home. But cool. This scene's looking cool. This is by Shiro. So it's still not complete. Still not completely done, but would like to hear how I can improve it. So there's a lot of pipe breakup, and usually these breaks, like if we look here, so these breaks that happen, those usually happen when they either need to change direction or change the how the pipe ends, right? So there's some weird pinching that's going on here. This should be a 90-degree turn with no change in diameter, and then another 90-degree turn with no change in diameter. Right now it looks like it's getting a little squashed in there. You've got what I will classify as small pipes and like medium pipes. I'm not really seeing a large pipe. To get some contrast or breakup, I would suggest maybe having one or two very large pipes. Maybe one going along the ceiling accompanied by a thinner one, like a small. And with the logic of everything, think about how stuff is connected or faceted together. So like these little brackets here, it looks like it's being pinned or anchored to the frame of the ship or whatever this space is. This looks like maybe a submarine or like some type of vessel. I'm not sure. But think about how they're fastened together, how they connect to things, as well as being careful with the busyness. I think right now a lot of the busyness is the pipes and how often they break up. I think the pipe for this central area here could possibly not have another break. Let me see if I can just like copy this image and then we'll paste it here. Oh God. So you have a connection here, which actually looks like it's a bracket. So this is a cool connection. This type of thing going on. This doesn't need to be here. That's another bracket. This doesn't need to be here. And then you have that connection point. So you see what I mean is basically they do the minimum amount of separation so that you don't have to worry about how things are put together. If you have this in a reference, I would see how this interacts with the pipe and see if they connect in a certain way, or if the pipe just actually runs through it, or if this piece is supposed to actually just be like one-sided. Like, is it supposed to be closed up like that, for example? And if that's all this, if this piece is like part of the wall, like knowing how that connects, is that's something else to think about. This is the pinching I was talking about here. You can see it again here. How round this is, or the rounding of the, if we look at it from like a top view, like this rounding point, this round part feels quite large for a curve, and usually they're going to be pretty minimal or small. That way you don't have to account for how that's going to work, or have to build quite a unique piece. Only other thing is I would just look at the logic of piping and see how that's all connected. And I think about signage. Like, what is this room? Oh, polycount on this edge too. So you got polycount here. What is this room? Maybe there's a thing that's telling you what space you're in. There's probably supposed to be a sign here that says, oh, this is this floor and you're going down to this floor. What's this room down here? You know, these types of details. And I'd get some more variation in your materials, as like everything feels very rusted or aged. Definitely look at reference and just kind of nail down the those types of details. Don't hesitate to paint a few pipes a different color, or put a symbol on it that lets you know, oh, this is like there's gas running through here, or this is a fuel line, those types of things. And like I was saying up above, you could have one giant pipe here and then maybe like a smaller one next to it. So keep all of those little details in mind. And remember, these lights need to be powered somehow. So either wire, I'm imagining because of the age, it's wire, or it's like pinned down and then following the wall. And definitely use more geometry just throughout. We're seeing edge counts everywhere. You want to avoid those. We shouldn't be able to count the edges. But yeah, super cool. It's nice to see an environment. And I would look at more references. Maybe these are too thin. Like depth wise, maybe they could be deeper, and then how wide they are could be feedbacked on. Like maybe they could be wider. Where do you put stuff for critique? You join the Discord. And thank you, Joe. I can keep moving if you guys help me in the chat with those questions. But yeah, super cool. Let's go to the next one here, Joe. Speaking of Joe, so Joe, work in progress. I've been working on this for a while, but this week we're working on camera shots, lighting, composition, and framing. Would really appreciate some feedback in these areas. Thank you. Okay, how many images? You gave me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see here. Oh, that's not. So this angle is quite interesting. This one could be intriguing. It feels like a story needs to be there. The prop size, the wine bottles, that wine bottle seems really small compared to these chairs, for example. Where's the other shot here? There's one. This one. So there's these broken glass pieces. That's a lot of glass. I don't know how many bottles that is. Usually it would be quite localized. So if you think about it, like the amount of glass that's here, instead of being so clustered together, it should be like you've broken a bottle before, right? It's uniform sizes too. Yeah, yeah. Adel, how you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, so uniform sizes. If you shoot a bottle, they explode. Like those pieces are everywhere. You won't even. You maybe would see a fragment or a little bit of a piece there. Um, and depending on like, are they full of liquid? If they are full of liquid, there'd probably be some stain spots. Like maybe someone was doing shooting practice on these bottles. That's some type of detail you'd need to look for. I'm not sure what the story is in this space. Like this shot's quite strong. It just needs to go through. Let me see. Where's this? It's been a while, so working on camera shots, lighting, composition, and framing. So framing, this one's quite good. Again, the glass is a little strange here. Double check the scale on everything. And if you have references on how these look, this top part is broken in a way where I'm wondering how it broke. You know what I mean? Like, are these, like, did one of the barrels like fall through it, or because the damage on top here is quite hard to explain, being so close to the ceiling. So it's something to keep in mind. I feel like the normal on the wood is maybe a little strong. Like the cracks between the wood pieces is good, but the detail of the normal, the detail of the wood is a little strong. Everything is very warm. There's a lot of details that are happening that I can't explain. So like you have the wood floor, which is just kind of open. Are those missing? Like there's so much damage going on that isn't accompanied by other logical damage around it. So like you have the broken floor, you have the edge here, which should, I guess, be broken as well. Now the wood details looks swollen like it is summer. I think it's just the strength of the normal itself. The wood edges are fine. It's the wood grain normal. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, wood swelling I don't think emphasizes the detail of the wood grain. But compositionally, this one's quite strong. I think if there's more story here, this one would be really good. This space basically looks like it's got the initial propping pass, if that makes sense. Like it doesn't have any of the detail work in yet, like all the little ivy stuff that's coming down. I would want to see some of that kind of coming down the side here, maybe a little bit against the wall. The wood breaks look good, but I don't know how that happened. Like there's nothing in here explaining to me what, like maybe if the ceiling had collapsed pretty heavily, you'd get quite a bit of damage. But yeah, I like this angle. I think this angle is interesting if it's further back. I mean, basically, whenever you're doing a shot that's up close, like shots like this as well, you need to have a reason why you're framing it. Like, what's the story? What type of propping is missing from that shot? This is why I suggest blocking out everything you can for your scene. You plan it all out, you have your props list, and then you block all those out and you prop with all those blocked out pieces. So your space is already populated with all the details that you're expecting to have in it, at least that first pass, and it should give you most of your answers. I feel like you're missing half of your props. Lighting wise, it's all right. I mean, it seems like a directional sun, right? It's just a sun direction. There's not much character like in the shadows. Maybe it could be cooler. Turning the ambient up for the blue sky will give you some cooler shadows just to get some contrast in with the warmth. But yeah. No, it's looking cool. It just needs some needs all those little tweaks I'm talking about. Are the UVs on some of the structure woods stretched? I mean, maybe. But UVs I'm going to expect you to fix at some point, so I don't usually comment on them unless you're like getting ready to close it up. It's like, "Oh, the UVs here look weird." Where's there was one other shot I wanted to this breakup you're doing. This looks like it's vertex paint. Make sure that the height threshold blend between these two is allowing the stone to take over, or the bricks to take over sooner. Because right now it kind of looks like it's on top of it, unless it's like a stucco that chips. If it's stucco that chips, then the alpha that's cutting out the stucco pattern is broken up in a way that doesn't really read like that. But yeah, cool. Cool. The damage on this wood is very evenly displayed. I think getting that damage more localized, like if all that damage is in like a normal that you can mess with, I would put like let's say all that damage is a layer inside a Substance Painter. I would put a mask on that, and then that mask should be painted where you want the damage to occur instead of it being all over. It'll give more logic to like wear and tear on the surface of things. And don't forget these like straight lines, getting little props or details or pieces of glass just to break up those straight lines. That's going to help a lot. All right. Koski, I don't know if you're in chat, but let me see if you posted again. Split. Koski. Okay, yeah, you posted. I see it. So, yeah, I remember looking at this scene as well. So, I don't actually see much of a difference on this scene yet. Praven, I know that I have a Patreon recording to make for you. So, expect that soon. But yeah, I think framing-wise, this is an interesting shot. I think the camera being more to the left and then looking more this direction so that this is man, how do you describe that? Yeah, I basically think this table should be more here, or I'm like trying to imagine what it would. Yeah, it ends up being more here, and you're looking more down this way, so you see more of this wall, and it puts this on a third, which is like if we copy this image, bring it into here. What you're seeing with it right now is like it's right in the center, you know? Oh, come on. I'm gonna do that. There we go. So right now it's pretty centered up. It's on a good third when it comes to the vertical. But horizontally, you probably want to put it more here. So that when you frame up like this, you're getting it more in this area, so that you're getting this cross point on there. And then you can look back at that direction. I wonder if I can just like, this is totally Hacksaws. And then imagine this expanding this way. No, we're gonna leave that there. But imagine seeing more of this. Framing wise, this looks already much stronger to me. And you can see too, like the spacing here. If I go and grab this and paste this, Sizen, how you doing? Good to see you. If you look at the spacing here and then the spacing in this area, getting these two sides close together is pretty nice. And if you think about this to this, that's like this range here. Let me do that. If you cut it into thirds, it's cutting right around here. Everything's doing thirds, you know? Is this only applicable to still shots? No, this is composition. This could be in movement too. Or are you talking about, what about video games too? Yeah, video games for sure. Like when you're in a small room and then you come out to like this lobby, for example, if you're revealed to this shot and you have that angle, you have control over how the viewer sees it, right? That's another thing to think about. Oh, what is this? What do we have here? Huh. Yeah, hopefully that helps. Gotta frame everything. Everything. It's gotta framing. Composition, framing, all the time. Burnt steak. Oh, wait a minute. I just clicked on your... You can go here. This looks like a knife to me, sir. So this looks this is interesting. There's some normal information on here that is really strong. I don't know what type of material. Like I know this is like a form of metal, but I can't tell you what type of metal it is because of the way it's rendering. Like the smoothness of it, like these scratches or this marking pattern, I would expect to be more in the roughness or in really like directional normal information. That's not so much like scratch patterns, but like whole vector shifts in normal maps. So instead of depicting like, oh, this surface is sticking out and then going back in, it's a detail that is literally a vector shift. Man, how would I explain that? A vector change. I need to figure out how to explain that one. That's a tough one to describe. It needs to be more uniform. There's that as well. Like we need to understand what that surface is that you're trying to depict. Cause like those scratch patterns look more like like when you're wiping a material on a wall, like a stucco. Yeah, like brushed metal. Here I'll do something like real fast. Let's see here. So it's basically like when you have normal information that's scratches or differences in the surface that are really small. Why is this taking so long to... Did I just... Okay, there we go. Let's do like this. So if we look at this, of course this doesn't really match up all that well, but you can see this shape here has got like height information, right? That's describing a surface, and you can see how like the light wraps around and it kind of gives it voluminous shapes. Bro has more tabs open than my graphics teacher. Nice. Sick burn, bro. I don't know, maybe that's a good thing. But yeah, so this is depicting shape and surface depth differences in the normal. Whereas like if you use like a scratch generator or scratch normal, if you've seen a scratch normal, it's almost one whole color. So you can see this scratch here. It's just a color, and that color is telling it, point the light that way. And it doesn't really change. It's just a vector going one direction. And you can see it with each one of these. So what you actually are looking for is vector changes, not surface description in normals. The other things I was going to mention is geometry-wise, it's very low poly looking, despite the fact that it's got a lot of geometry. Like these surfaces need to be explained better. And I think this is a good start, but you can see this is super strong. That should probably be like half the strength. Looking at references, this part looks pretty good. But yeah, really understanding PBR, because I think right now what I'm seeing is you're not grasping PBR yet, but you're getting there. Right now you're relying a whole lot on normal maps, and then we've got the stretch UVs here. You should be relying on normal maps to describe the surface variation, and then roughness to describe the type of material that it is. Plane changes, not grooves. Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. I plan to make it so it looks smoother and not as aggressive. Mine was more of a grinded metal. But yeah, and think about like, okay, what's this material to this material? This types of scratches and aging that's happening here doesn't feel very logical, like where it's happening and how much of it's occurring. So keep that in mind. Maybe because this flips back into the frame, there can be some scratch or like wear patterns from opening and closing it all the time. Yeah, the model looks pretty good. It's the detail normals, and when you get that glancing angle on it, it's your roughness and understanding what materials you're trying to display here. Okay, we got this one here, Faltera. Hello. You've got this reference as well. What is this from? Here's the hero. Here's the hero in the concept art, not one-to-one. Can I link the art session? Yeah, go for it. So modeling wise, it looks like maybe there's enough geometry. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, dang. Oh, I see. So it's not one-to-one like you're saying, and that's fine. Man, what the hell is this place? This is crazy. That's not terrifying at all. This is in a church? Yo. You can't sculpt people for the life of you? That's okay. Yeah, the colors in this are really cool. Yeah, when it comes to people, you could start with a base model that you can get from ZBrush, or you can find scans of sculptures or statues and start with those. Yeah, you can shortcut that stuff for sure. One thing I would say is, so like you have this curve here. Even if you're creating your own curve, you can see in the concept here. Man, this is a cool concept. You can see the concept here. It's pretty uniform in the size. So making sure that size stays uniform. Right here, it pinches pretty heavily. This would probably be more rounded, and the width here is going to be the same as the width here. So keeping that pretty uniform is going to be key. And even when you're making it up, I would suggest. Let's see here. Even when you're making it up, I would suggest finding the style of the design of the fountain, for example, or in this case, the fountain, and really understanding what types of shape language happen there. Because, like, for example, see, these are all. This is still square. It's just going on a 45-degree angle. And if you look at yours, so this type of shape angle that's occurring is very alien by comparison of the style that you're looking at. So like instead of these coming out this way, they should be, maybe I can just copy this. They should be like if it's 45 degree, right? You want it to be coming out this direction. That'll give you a more consistent design to the look that you're looking at. Scary secret church lab. Church labs, dude. That sounds terrifying. Terrifying. That sounds like a really good. Oh man, that sounds scary. Yeah, the other thing I wanted to mention is the normal information that's happening here. I think those are normal maps. They look extremely strong. The detail information that you're getting on here is tiled very heavily. I wonder if I can get like a. Let me see if I can Let me just pull this over here. The normal looks really, really strong. I'm just Googling detail normal. Oh, wow. Ha! That's funny. My video is like the video that comes up when you look up detail normals. That's kind of cool. I'm looking for a good video on this. Okay. So, nice. Wait, am I wearing that same shirt? That's hilarious. So you can see here we've got a detail normal, and we're blend angle corrected normals with the baked normal. So you want a detail normal, that way you can tile it independently of your primary normal. Keep that in mind, because right now I think what you're suffering from is really high strength on a normal, and it doesn't look like it's tiling independently of the surface below it. So it looks really low res because of that. Yeah, the only other thing I think is understanding these shapes. Again, I would just look at try and find out the style, the design style of this, the architectural style, if you want to call it that. And that'll help you replicate shapes and details better for these types of things. Because like these look extruded out, but they also look inset, and there's a curve on that edge. Right now yours are just coming straight out, and then there's a bevel. It's more of a inset curve. Looking cool though. I would focus on your modeling more first, and get the model down, and then you can start texturing it. Look at that hammer, Axel. That's a sick hammer. Yes, flat normals. Super good. I have it in here. I don't have it in here. Well, it looks like I have a lerp, but you could plug this into a flat normals, and then it'll expose a input, and then you can control the strength of the normal through that. So Axel says, I've been getting into a substance painter lately. This is the second prop I've made with it. What should I focus on to improve next? I mean, this looks pretty good. I think this handle here, it's kind of hard to read the wood. I see it a little bit here, but even like with the coating, it doesn't feel like whatever has coated the wood is really letting the wood show, if that makes sense. Let's look at the model here. This is pretty nice, this break up here. The roughness difference between these two surfaces as well is really good. I think it's really, I mean, definitely hammer time. Oh yeah, very good. I think it really comes down to like understanding the difference between these two materials and how this top material chips away. I'm assuming you're looking at references pretty close. But the way that the shape of the damage kind of goes up the side here, I think there's likely to be more of that in smaller splinters, just in how the wood, like, or how the surfacing chips away from the wood. Modeling wise, I mean, it's all right. There's a weird like opening here. I mean, maybe that's to be more accurate with like a real hammer. Is there more? I mean, the renders look pretty nice, but definitely looking at the poly count of the round head of the hammer, this render is too close for the amount of detail that you're displaying as well. I would probably pull that back just a little bit. There's a hard edge here as well. There's basically hard edges in areas where you would expect it to just be a little bit softer, and then that seam there is really harsh. Yeah, the depth of field is quite strong. I would back up a bit because it just feels like you're really close. If you want to do a render like this, and you have like a account where you can upload like a video, I would shift the FOV forward and backwards slowly and just allow us to like take in the surfaces as they become visible. Didi, how you doing? Good to see you. All right, Wally. Yo, hi. Hello. Everyone wave at Wally. Jordan, I think I'm close to finishing this, but I still feel like there's something missing. Mainly looking for texturing advice. Still need to work on rendering, presentation. Thanks in advance. Ooh. Oh, man. Hey, Jordan. Jordan 3D, how you doing? So, it's pretty uniformly damaged. Maybe the scratch marks could be a little bit more. Do we have like a... Let me just pull this over here and just like Wally. Do we have any good references on that surfacing? I'm trying to find a picture of Wally. This one might do. Let me see if I can open this in a new window. That does not help me. Open image in a new window. That helps. Okay. So of course the lighting is probably a little different. But I think when it comes to the surfacing that you're working with, you can see the metalness on the claw or the hand. It's really rough here. And on yours, it's quite shiny. I'd really lean into that range. And maybe there's some... You get some sun bleaching where the color is brighter on the and more desaturated on the top, and then becomes very greased and oily and old, diffused and dark at the bottom. Getting that in there. It kind of looks like you're nailing the kind of metal that's here. There's some rust that's occurring. You can see here. But you can really see in the treads. I mean, this might not be the best. Let me see if I can find another. Oh, this one might do it. So you can see that the hands are quite diffused, and then there's a rusting element that I think you're missing out on. Yeah, poodle scene for sure, man. The other thing is see the amount of dirt build up and grime in there. I feel like these tread patterns could come up like 3 times the height. Maybe it's not. Maybe this is a Wally and not the Wally. I mean, they should all be built the same, right? And they should have all aged the same. The only difference between the Wally and a Wally is one's alive and the others are dead. So sad. So the dead ones would have much more dust on it. So this must be the Wally. Yeah, so the tracks should be... yeah, I think the tracks are definitely more on the rubbery side. These are quite metal. And I think having that opportunity to get a different type of material presence would be really good. Oh man, I feel like a sneeze coming. But let's look at the mice. So you can see there's another like set of detail on the inside. I would totally make this clear and have information on the inside, like model in that inner area of the eye. And again, it looks like there's much more rust, and the paint itself is quite a bit more of a yellow, desaturated look that's being tinted and changed by the rust that's on the surface. You can see too on the tracks here, they're quite flat by comparison of what we're seeing in the tracks here. So just taking those into account, I think is going to be really important. Let's where are we at here? Just take this, paste this here. Hey guy, go to this one, copy this one, You, sir, are huge. Yeah, so really like locking in that information. You can see the amount of dust and dirt that's in this as well. And rust. What type of metal is that versus this metal? Like this looks really dark. Um, Metals, albedo wise, are going to be quite bright. If this is supposed to be a rubber as well, it just, it's trying to match that information. Hey, Joe, have a good one. Wally is technically mass produced, definitely. If you watch the movie, you can see that all the Wallies are, they all stopped working. They show a ton of them in the movie, but they're all just kind of like frozen in space. They're all dead. All their batteries died. The lighting could be brighter. Yeah, I think that would help quite a bit as well. But even if this is like, it's just the materials need to match closer, I think. And the definition and detail that should be extruded out when needed should be there. Like this is definitely like coming out, and that's a round cap, and then there's screws in that. So having this come out would be helpful, I think. I don't think Wally did that, no. But it's really cool. It's just that extra layer, like you're saying, it's that last Jordan, it's that last like 10%. Grand Gesture, how you doing? Good to see you. See, there's all these pieces that move as well, right? I would love to see parts that have scratched or scraped because of the movement. And you can see there's not actually that much rust present. It's mainly just paint and metal being exposed from the paint being damaged. It needs a rust pass. And with rust and rain, the rust drips and stains the paint. And oh man, all the good stuff. All right, Kane. Is it Kane? This one, Kane? Enter now. The scribe's room, right? This is you? Yeah. My last work done. Hope you like this. Hope like this is fine. What could I improve? Let's take a look here. No problem, Jordan. Dude, thanks for posting. It's really cool. So I love the particles moving around in the air. It feels like they speed up. That was weird. Like they were slower at first and then they sped up. These fades are really nice. So when this fades in, I feel like the camera should already be moving. Like you can tell that the camera's not moving when it starts to come out of the black. Maybe it's, I don't know. It's subtle. But there should always be, your camera should always be moving. Not accelerating, not slowing down, but just moving. So this shot's really cool. The downside I would say of it currently is the light rays are coming in so direct that it's so symmetrical. I mean, further back, it starts to look pretty cool. I think that could benefit maybe from like a tall aspect ratio instead of a wide one. Yeah, you want the camera movements to be constant. The first one could be still if you want, and then starting to move. But I like how this is already moving. The bamboo pieces you're saying are too close together. Yeah, so these need to actually feel quite a bit more separated. I think it's because it's just textured, right? It's like a textural pass that's been done on that. Man, this is cool though. What is that material? Hang on. What? This box material here is interesting. I'm trying to understand what that material is. Huh. Your shadows are quite sharp. I wonder if because they're pretty diffused here. Maybe it's okay. I would see if you could try the light angle at a different direction, like where the light's casting more on the side, just to get some asymmetry in there. Looks cool though. And the wall is very flat. I think that maybe if these details were brought forward just a little bit more, like 10 centimeters, just get a little bit more depth in there. But again, maybe that's the design. Maybe that's the idea. Ooh, these look... Yeah, the renders look nice. Yeah, the shot's really cool, though. It's weird. It doesn't really feel like there's like a ceiling here. Because the wall's so uniformly lit. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Let me see if we can... One thing I would say is it's very... Whoops. It's very monochrome. I wanted to see what would happen if you... camera raw filter. I always like to do this test just to see what colors you can see in the... You just move the temperature around. Because with warmer colors, you actually lose all of the color. It all starts to become the orange or yellow color. Whereas with cooler colors, other colors can be present in it. Like warmer colors are able to be present in it. Whereas when it becomes warm, cool colors can't really be all that present. Like this is quite interesting. I don't know if you want to do it on the edges too much. Just turning up the saturation on that. But you like getting that difference. I think this space is allowed to be empty, but maybe the frame doesn't need to be so broad. iSkill, how you doing? Hello. Like if you, what is it? Do this. If you trimmed off the sides here, it wouldn't be all that strange. Either way, really cool. Really, really cool. That edge is super sharp. You see that right here? It's beveled there though, so I think it's okay. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh, Holden. Did I reopen this somehow? I think I did. Okay, we got a few more here. We got quite a bit actually. I'll open this one up. Open this one. Give me a second. Just gonna boop 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 boop. There we go. Okay, and then ace. Get this open. Man, lots of new people in here. I'm loving this. You guys get little previews of all the work that's coming through. Did a little cinematic too. Get out of here, bro. Okay. I think. So we've been going for about an hour now. Elden Ring doorway, nice. Got a lamp here. We're gonna open this one. Gonna open this. Oh, that's your, okay. That's for this. Cool. Bring that over. Okay. Scrolling back up. All right. So this is split. First scene, fully modeled by me. Nice. Looking cool, man. So this is your first scene, huh? It's interesting you're saying you're a texture artist. I kind of want to go look at your portfolio now. You are a texture artist. Look at that. So you got your first scene. This looks like your browser on a normal day. Nice. I usually group tabs. You know? It's just easier that way. So, this looks pretty cool. It's definitely nighttime, right? It's a little dark. You're telling a story, though. I like that. You're thinking about the logic of the cables and the wires and stuff. You got a little fence thing going on here. So, full scene. First scene, fully modeled by me. It's pretty cool, man. I would say, so, first off, I would say that you don't have to, what is this? Hang on. There we go. Okay. You don't have to worry about modeling every single asset, right? I would say, is this you, Killer X, dude? This is, I would say, don't be afraid to get trees from Megascans. And for the grass, think about scale. You don't need a tablet skill. Think about the scale of everything. So for the little ground plants and bushes and stuff, or these like little grass patches, they right now they feel quite large, especially if you like when you're working on a scene like this, putting the character in the space. Whoa, this is rendered in Blender. I see now. So yeah, think about the scale of everything. You could bring in a character just so that you have the height of a character and you understand like the how big the hands are and how big the feet are. So think about that. It is, I would agree with Poodlestein. It's a little difficult to understand where the light is coming from. There's a lot of black values where you would expect, excuse me, you would expect to see ambient light filling in the shadows. So the shadows would be dark, but they're not pitch black, right? They're only going to be pitch black if you're in a room where no light is around. Or you're on like the moon and it's just like darkness, you know? Because what's filling the shadows is the light bouncing around in the atmosphere, bringing up the overall brightness of the scene. There's no atmosphere, your shadows become black. So this is almost like it's on the moon, if you want to think about it like that. The tiling of the ground texture is super low res, and I think it's just because of what you're trying to achieve with the painting. Remember, you can blend, even in Blender, you can blend between different texture sets. Like you can have your grass version and your mud version, and then you can paint a mask that blends between the two. Then you can tile those 5 to however many times you want, 20 times, and you'll get higher resolution that way. It looks like it's a little shiny down here as well. So it's modeling, thinking about scale with the models, understanding the is the light from HDRI. It doesn't look like HDRI. I mean, if it is, the HDRI is like a black sky with stars, right? But I would say compositionally, the way you've placed everything and the interest of the shot is good. It's the execution of the models, it's the execution of the materials and the lighting to really enhance the presentation. And like, for example, the trees look very like spindly or low poly, right? I think honestly, I think for your next piece, you should make this generator and get it into a game engine or render it in Substance Painter and just focus on the modeling and the representation of the geometry and then the materials and really like nailing down those PBR values. Yeah, hopefully that's helpful. Oh yeah, see, look at like this actually looks better to me than this one. And I think it's because there's a loss in understanding of the scale. Wait, is this? Hang on. Yeah, it's the same, right? Aha, look at that. Interesting. So there's also some smoothing issues I'm seeing here. Yeah, because this looks pretty good, and it's honestly it's really about like again the scale, door handle, that little gas canister. I've held one of those before. These are like half the size that they should be. These are quite big. Perspective is witchcraft. Yeah. See the wood pieces on the top too? Those are very boxy. Like getting some bevels on there, some geometry to break it up would really help, and some information in the material to really like sell those surfaces. Hmm. I really like this shot though. See, the ceiling feels really thin. Is that what is that? Is that corrugated metal? Because corrugated metal is quite wavy. These are rendered in Painter. This one isn't though, right? This is Substance Painter. So you can see in your shadows are much more pleasant. Like you see how dark these are, and then the shadows here, there's more information filling them. Bobbin, how you doing? Or Boppin, Boppenheimer, yo. But yeah, and then this branch here feels a little funky. But dude, I love the attention to detail that you're pushing and like the logic of like how stuff's connected. Maybe this antenna could be like that much bigger and you would get some nice like shape differences going on. This tree could be larger as well. First is Blender. Yeah. Yeah, I can see it because of the shadows. And then here, this one looks really good, and it was literally just because of the way that the shadows are being affected by the HDRI. Okay, next up is Tymic. Slowly, oh, is it you, Poodle? Is this you, Poodle? I'm doing good, Boffin. It's good to see you. Welcome. Slowly chipping away. Ha, chipping away. Um, at this temple scene, added real-time virtual texture blending, and I'm experimenting with lighting. It's mostly with bounce light, thanks to Lumen. Next order of business is figuring out the visual language for some of the ornamental detail. The statues are blocked out, by the way. Don't look too closely. I mean, if you unwrap those, you ran like a Dynamesh so the edges softened up, and then like unwrapped a decimated version of that, and just got some tiling textures on there, dude, I might not even know. Do you know what I mean? It's more about it blending in than like what makes it stick out right now is the hard edges and the stretched textures. If you get like a decent unwrap on there and the hard edges are kind of softened up, no one will know. No one will know unless you pass by it, right? But this is looking pretty interesting. I would say what you want to do. Yeah, I honestly didn't realize till you said. So with your light experiments, I would even though I'm sure there's details up here, I would bring the light over here and shine this way, hide those details so that you can get some light coming in here, because what you're kind of dealing with right now is the everything is so high above this central space that you don't have a context of, or you don't have an angle that you can get the sun in here, right? So don't worry about keeping the assets that you can't see in the shot if it's blocking if they're becoming shadow casters, you know what I mean? And also, I don't know if you guys noticed, but look at the scale of the people. Like, look at that little guy. Just tiny, just chilling there. So getting something in here that helps us understand the scale would be really valuable. Right now, it's just that character. That character's gone. I'm actually assuming that the character is like 5 times the height of this. So scale-wise, it's really difficult to understand what I'm looking at. But the textures look really cool, and the breakup and the surfaces look really nice. It looks like you got a detail normal in there, so won't worry about that too much. But just keep in mind that when things are in shadow, your normals aren't really doing much. So a lot of the information is getting lost, and it's really relying on your ambient occlusion and your albedo. The character is the size of a step. Yeah, that's pretty hardcore. Poor guy's going to need to climb those stairs. Built for the Titans. So keep that in mind with the scale and also with the lighting. And I guess I would say, let's see here. Yeah, you just need some elements to help us understand the scale. And I think one of the first ones is going to be steps, the stairs. Like you could do large stairs on the sides and then like the regular stairs in the middle. I mean, lighting could even be over here, casting this way, getting light on. Because like think about how you can use the light to separate elements out. So right now it's all very much in shadow. Pretty cool though. Yeah, I didn't notice the human at first either. Really tiny little guy. All right, Ace. Let's go. This looks pretty cool. Really interesting space. This little console thing's probably the coolest part of it. I think if you didn't do any of these shots and just focus on this corner one. Let's take a peek here, huh? Yeah, so if you didn't have to focus on anything except this shot, it's really focusing on this asset, which you're definitely doing. I mean, look at the details here. That's great. Thinking about what is causing this type of aging and really toning it down. Just because I don't imagine it gets very heavy. Oh, I forgot to read this text too. I stepped away from this project. It's been about 2 weeks now. Looking at it now, it's really obvious that there isn't enough lighting. And also, I also intend to add an additional room beyond the door at the end of the hallway there. Hallway where a light source could cast in the corridor. I guess I'm worried about overpowering the little lights I have scattered around the scene. With too much area lighting. I mean, this is really cool. I think this scene is one of those scenes where there's so much to focus on and work on that you're just getting... You probably had to step away from it to get a breather, right? Like if you focus in on this, like think about this screen, like what's going on the screen surface? It feels really crunchy when it could be a much more reflective surface or smooth in the roughness. And you can really focus in on the way that things are modeled and like tone down the amount of damage. The detail, the work here looks really nice. This looks really good. And I think you could doff this out and this alone could be like a pretty cool looking image. Like I wonder if I can... Where are we at here? It's probably going to have a hard time selecting this. This is probably part of it too. I'm like, come on. You got this. I'm just going to copy this. And then we're going to... filter, blur. Yeah, so if that was the focus, right? Of course, I think I blurred this too much, but getting everything, having you look at this, you probably frame it so it's maybe more here, and then you could use like the hallway as like a backdrop. Yeah, the gold and blue are definitely fighting with each other, and I think it's you have to concentrate on the gold or the blue, and the other one needs to be toned down. Oh, that sucks, man. Yeah, I hit a terrible crash. But yeah, I would just focus on this, because what I think what you're on the verge of showing us is a great model with nice materials, and it's getting lost with you building an entire scene. Um, if you want to build a whole scene, that's fine, but man, it is a lot of detail, and it's fighting with itself. Like you basically need to take the gold and remove it, or like cut it in half, in its reference to the rest of the scene. I mean, the keyboard looked pretty detailed, didn't it? Like, look at the buttons are all modeled out and stuff. They probably need some text on the keys and stuff, but then you could like focus on the material types of these. But yeah, keep that all in mind. I would just focus on this and use this as a backdrop. Let's see where we're at here. Okay. Next up is Koski. I think this is a mask. Like a filtration mask. Brings back the good old Division days. And then we've got a rifle as well. I wouldn't worry about the normal information that you've got going on here currently, and I'd really focus on the modeling. Look at the scale. Look at this muzzle brake here. Keyboards don't need text. Get out of here, Deity. They do for some. The muzzle brake is quite large. The length of the barrel. The shapes are quite primitive. So like really thinking about the modeling aspects instead of worrying about the detail normals or the surface detail. I'd really focus on just the modeling. It's the same here as like this filtration cap. Like it's got a round piece. Round piece looks pretty good. This one though, however, this hexagonal shape is very primitive, right, in the details that are there. So you can kind of reverse engineer and understand how you got to the shape that you have. Whereas like really good, like a great model is one that you can't really understand how it was built. You're just like, dang, that looks cool. So thinking about that, I like that you're thinking about how things are connected. I'm not sure what these cables are and why they connect to the central piece. It's likely to be more logical that these would be connecting to one of the filters and maybe going to a battery that's to the side or something. One thing that you got going for you on these filtration caps, as well as like this little piece here, is they give you that nice silhouette break. I don't know if you've seen like, we grab this. I don't know if you've seen when someone's designing a mask, like you get these really large filtration caps, and it's mainly to get that kind of design across, like a really big detail. So like they'll have like a huge cap on the side, or like this comes out and is actually canister. Like that's also another design that it's all about the silhouette design, the breakup of the shapes. But yeah, you can see this one here is a square. If that came out further and was larger, that'd be pretty cool. Because you can have those like big flat like details to the side of the mask. And then maybe cables run from that to the one of the filtration caps. Because this one I don't understand. This causes lots of questions, which basically leads to a lack of understanding of like what's happening. And it ends up getting dismissed as like poor design because you can't understand when you look at it what's happening. If that makes sense. And then with this one, I was just gonna say like I was saying just a little bit ago, and Defcon is in the Discord. He can help a whole lot with this. We have a weapons library that's got tons of references on weaponry. Do I have a command in here? I don't think I do. No. There's a weapons library we have, and it is magical. Let me show you real quick here. So if you go to the Empire command, which is this has a command. There we go. And you scroll down, there's a weapons library. You click that, and there's all these weapons in here. So you could go for like a sniper rifle, and you can go through and look at these. Be like, cool, I like this one. You can see like what country is involved, manufacturer. Then there's a zip file that's got the entire gallery. If you click gallery, you can see all of the images that are going to be in that file. Tons of references, and they're all quite high res as well. So keep that in mind. The weapons database, super powerful. Oh man, we're in the moderators thing now. But yeah, that's the other thing. Do we have a Dragunov? You could just type in drag. Do we not? Let me see. There, this one. There's a 2000 version and earlier than 1999. Look at that. Dude, look at these images, man. Like, how high res is this? That's not too crazy. But there's some good stuff in there. Anywho. Oh, man. But yeah. Hopefully that's helpful. Any deets on the origins of the potato gun? We can do a potato gun. I want to do a vehicle one as well. I think that would be really powerful, really useful. So, let's keep on going here. Look at this beautiful looking thing. This is my stylized project that I'm working on right now. I'll leave the concept and the bake renders that are just finished recently. So it's a concept, and here's the bakes. Is that a Harry Potter scratch there? How do you switch tabs using shortcuts? You mean like this? So it's Control Tab and Control Shift Tab go backwards. Some revolver references are missing. Is there a name in there that you can contact? I imagine it's Defcon. You're a treasure chest, Harry. Really cool. Really cool. So I'd say like this piece here, you're losing quite a bit to the size of the brim of the cap. But just scaling that in would work wonders to be able to see this type of detail. Because right now this is kind of overtaking everything. You can see too, let's see, in the concept, these are pretty soft looking. And in yours, they feel a little bit rigid. I would try and like kind of get that soft look in there. But otherwise, I mean, it looks pretty cool. It's really kind of nailing the look. Wait, the size of the shade and the pointy thing is also flipped. The pointy thing. Oh, you mean this thing? Or these? These are studs. I mean, it looks pretty cool. There are definitely some nitpicks, and I would say like the edge on here is maybe a little too sharp. You can see in the concept, everything's just got a nice softness to it. Hey, Harrison, have a good one. You have a nice day as well. The hat, yeah. Yeah, really capturing the, like you see it actually goes behind this lid and then comes back out. Whereas yours is very much like the mainstay. I think we're actually looking at this more than the chest itself. And then the logo, I would thicken up the round part of that, and you should be good. All right, Vince took a break from this for a while. I still have some feedback from the last time I haven't implemented yet, but I've tweaked a few things. And this paint over of the door is my plan. Would be good to get some direction on the best way to go about making the door frame. Main thing to do is all the metal surfaces or all the metal structures, doors, pipes, stairs, platform, and vines. Some VFX. So we got this door. Got this paint over. Yeah, I think I'll only focus on the door because I know that you have some other stuff you want to focus on before. So I like your new design, the drawn design. Whoop, hang on here. I don't know if I would have the three lights or the 6 lights on the sides. I'd probably just have either this as a light or like one big long light here. You're kind of doing it up here. So you're wondering how you would go about best way to go about making the door frame. I mean, there's not really a right or a wrong way. So let's see here. So build this upper piece, then you build this. Terrible drawing skills. Don't mind me, just sucking over here. Build that piece. I would build... I'd build this frame. And this whole piece as one asset. This could maybe be its own. So you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I would build this inner area as like a 5 and a 6. You could reuse the 2 here. You have this. I'll put the 7 here and then just make this 7 again because you're just going to reuse that. The floor piece here could be its own platform. That's kind of part of the stair kit. So that would be 8. I don't know if this is making sense or what you were looking for. But that's kind of how I would tackle that. Common sci-fi mistakes? Could you link that in chat here? That sounds really interesting. Yeah, a lot of this stuff, like the little bolts and stuff, those could be decals. I would model this. This could be a decal, like tileable, if you really wanted it to be. I would model the details that are on the door itself. Ooh, thank you, Cooper. Oh yeah, that is a great video. So I'm going to use this opportunity to show you another thing. We got about 30 minutes left. We've still got a handful of stuff to go through, but we're getting there. I think we got time. What I want to show you is if we go here, let me go to the Empire Command again. If we go here, if you're in the Empire Command and you want to add a resource like what Cooper just posted, you can just say resource add to the Empire Command. And what we can let me open that up again here. I'll just pull this over here. Close these. Close. We got that bad boy going. What I'm gonna do is show you how to fill this out. So this is a few common sci-fi mistakes. So that's the title of it, right? Quick ways to improve. It's by Alex Seneschal, creator. And then I'm gonna right click on the video and just put the URL. It's free. It's a I guess you could say it's a talk, right? Maybe even like a showcase or content. So it's maybe like talk and a content. And then software. I wouldn't say there's really any software used, but I mean, that looks like, I'm just kind of digging through I'm just going to say other, because it's not really covering anything, right? And then you just hit submit, and then you can submit another one. Anyways, now that that's been submitted, you can actually see that the resource is in here for Q to be added to the system. One of the moderators or myself will go through, we'll click on this, we'll add all the details that need to be, and then it will just appear in the right area. And if it's hard surface related, like for example, you've got the hard surface weekly challenge. This tab says hard surface resources. This is completely in another area from the resources that you guys all post to. But if it's tagged hard surface, it'll show up in this list as well. Hey, Jordan, have a good one. So keep all of that in mind. Could help with the ruin or a monthly challenge too. Yeah, definitely. But that's how you fill that in. Let's keep on keeping on. So this one's by Adam. This looks pretty cool. I love the rotation with a really interesting, warm, like kind of neon light. This looks sick. Look at that detail. So the focus is here. Man, that's super cool. So the type of damage that's happening on this revolver is very, it's even got a scope, which is kind of crazy. But it's hyper real. It's kind of going outside of the range of what you would normally see. But man, that warm light, that kind of bright orange light source, really nice. And the damage, while exaggerated, looks like it's a lot more in the roughness than it's actually in the albedo. But there's some really nice subtle information. And I think this shot is my favorite right here. Like, look how crisp that is. The detail just kind of seems to be there. I would say the little bits of detail that's here, it gets a little bit of pattern heavy. But I don't know, it's kind of working at the same time. It's really interesting. This is a sick render. Man, it's so orthographic too. Everything's always flat. Is it better to have the type of damage as roughness information, or should it be included as well in the albedo? It depends what type of damage it is, right? So if it's superficial, like really soft amounts of damage, it's going to be changing the roughness properties of the surface. So like for example, if you take like a piece of like if you take this pistol for example, this is metal, right? This is where this is like coated metal. This is metal. So if you take like if you rub a fingerprint on there, that's oil. That's changing the roughness values, but not necessarily the surface itself. Same with like the little marks on here on the rubber. That's just roughness differences, likely from the oil of the hand that was holding it, right? Now, if there was a removal of this surface, which has its own roughness value, to the surface information of what's below it, that's not only showing you A, that it's a different surface, but B, that because it's a different surface, it also is a different roughness. So it's different roughness, different surface, which means different albedo. So it really depends what you're trying to say. Yeah, this looks like, yeah, this is marmoset for sure. Really sick though. This yeah, that's yeah, it sums it up, I think. Really, really nice pistol. I think the only thing I have a gripe with is the roughness detail on the grip is a little distracting. But that's really nitpicking. Because design-wise, you've created a piece of art that works against a black background with these sick highlights, but then without the highlights and just a diffused image as the backdrop, it's still interesting. Like you have a very strong understanding of visual design and balance when it comes to like displaying your work. So I bet if you click in here too, it's probably very similar for a lot of the work. So this is definitely new. Now I'm looking at all this stuff. This is by far your best work so far. Really impressive. Oh man, and I love Prague. You're checking all the boxes right now. Okay. Check out this room. What are we looking at here? So this is really cool. A lot of work in here. Lots of stuff going on. This shot looks cool. I actually checking. So, oh, hello, pistol. Sorry, got excited there. So of all of these shots, I think my favorite shot is this one. The reason I like this shot is because you're focused on something. You're looking here. There's information in the background. You've got other details. The texturing is consistent. The details are there. But in these shots, I don't know what I need to look at. It literally looks like a gym of the assets that you would use to sell this pack. It's from Final Fantasy IX. Man, it's so hard to take it all in. It's like man, it's so the assets are really well executed too. Can you link me the reference you're talking about? Oh my god, that's sick. I need to see the reference for this. Yeah, the composition in this one is really strong. This one, the composition bugs me because like this is the focus, but it's like right on the edge. But yeah, I'm wanting the darker shadows. You know what I mean? I want those darker shadows. Like just taking this, I'm just gonna grab like that, and then I don't know, maybe I can, is this gonna work? Maybe. We'll see. It's kind of working. All right, that should be enough. Maybe I can get this too. Because I really want to show, I mean, you probably know where I'm going with this as well. But like, look how much of a difference that makes. Even if it was subtle. Like how much that makes the shapes pop. You posted the link in crit chat? Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, see, even in this image, the light is so bright that it separates the elements. And like these, all this detail back here is actually blending into the wall. Man, that actually, yeah. I'm just gonna dupe this one and do like, is this the, what are we looking at here? Oh. Wait, is that for, wait. Yeah. Okay. So like highlights maybe? Yeah. So this blowing out, the tops of these getting pretty bright. This whole top floor brightening up. It's like getting that separation. Ooh, a little too much there. Getting that separation, huge difference versus like what we had before. It's basically like you're missing the details that pop the elements where you want them, right? So like even these elements here, like this detail, it doesn't need to be black, but it needs to be, let me see if I can get this too. Famous last words, can I please? Man, this selection tool is kind of crazy. Okay. Fine, be that way. Taking these elements, we'll add another layer maybe. I'll just bring these up to the top. And then let's just select a color. I'll just fill it with that. And then we'll make sure it's just screened on top of that. And then we'll just, it's trying to basically push these back, right? So you're not focusing on them so much. Yeah, it needs to be darker as well, doesn't it? So those could be there, blurred out, right? And then you have these hot spots like we were playing with where is it at? This one. See, getting these details to just pop out. Oh man, magic. In the backdrop, way back there, that doesn't need to be highlighted like the rest of this stuff. Of course, I'm blowing out colors like crazy, so don't mind that. The chests, this should be a focus for sure. And so it's about popping that information out. Maybe the outside should be really bright and kind of diffused as well. But you can see how much now it pulls your eye to areas, and there's so much more. It's easier to read the information. Oh man, this is a cool piece too, dude. It looks really good. It's just a matter of like really emphasizing the, yeah, see these all go down. Oh man. wonder if I can just... Maybe I can grab that. I just grab this whole area here. You can see I'm getting excited about this. So like that could be darker, and then because this is like a softer edge, this can just be diffused. So you can feel it go down into the shadow. So then all your elements just pop out. You're giving it more depth automatically. The whole style and the materials is so good. Definitely. I mean, this looks like a concept. It's really, really cool. It's really cool. Anywho, we should move on. But hopefully that helps. It's looking, man, it's looking immaculate. Oh man, did I move everything? What happened? Oh, I did move everything. Why? Oh, this is gonna bug me now. Yeah, because I want to do some comparisons of it. But everything's shifting. Oh, I'm gonna go crazy. Is it gonna work now? A little bit. A little better. Anywho. You broke it, Den. Ah! Okay. Next up, where are we at here? Man, I love this shot. Oh, so good. So good. Again, you could take this whole shape space back here, just make it darker, so it just gets pushed back, and you're really focusing on what's on the table. Oh yeah, you did a video too. Man, it's cool to see everything in motion. Again, you see you want very linear camera movement, right? Constant motion instead of like stop, go, stop, go. Pretty sick though. Looking forward to seeing that complete. Okay, who is this? Curtis or Citrus. I'm newer to Blender, and this is my second solo project that I'm working on. Would love to know what I can do better before continuing. Okay, so I think understanding the space that you're in and knowing where to add the detail to help understand the space. So this looks like it's a kitchen. These look like they're supposed to be like handles to open up drawers and stuff. So really looking at your references and kind of pushing and pulling those details in order to help you sell the surfaces and how it functions is really important. I imagine there also should be stuff on the counter here. I'm sure there's some free assets that you should be able to get a hold of to kind of fill the space. But I wouldn't even be texturing right now and just focus on modeling spaces and understanding shape and form if you're new to modeling and it says you said you're newer to Blender as well. So it's all about creating the geometry and the shapes to read how you want them to read. Don't even worry about materials right now. I think once you can build this space without textures and it looks pretty good, then it's like, all right, let's get some materials going. I mean, if you want to play with textures as well, you shouldn't block yourself either. As a basis for like just getting textures on this, make sure that you're not stretching any materials. So make sure your UVs are relaxed and of the right size. Yeah, and think about everything from a logical standpoint. So these are your light sources. I'm not sure where this light is, and the casting of the shadows tells me that there's a light that's more behind me or behind the camera that's casting these shadows, when it should be these three lights, probably going in more of like a cone shape. Some other things to look out for is hard edges. Like, it's okay to have a hard edge, but I would say it's probably better if you can get some type of a bevel on there, or things that get you away from a geometric look. So just having like this door, for example, this cabinet door, it's placed on top of the frame where usually it's quite integrated, where it meets the entire side, and then there'll be like the little detail for the bracket if it's exposed on the outside. If it's not, then the bracket's on the inside. The details that are on the inner area here and where the handle is are all very particular to the design. So if you're building like a real environment like this, look at references, understand where the handles are, how far away they are from the edge, all those types of little details. But yeah, I would just continue modeling, make more, just model, build things. Don't worry about geometry, just try and replicate what you see. And from there you can build from there. Hopefully that's helpful. Steve Wah. Man, there's a lot of new people to the server posting for feedback. I freaking love it. It's so cool. By the way, everyone who's in the Discord critiques, they'll be getting I don't know if you find it very coveted, but getting your name turning from a green to a red. So you go to a community tag instead of just a nomad. A nomad is someone who just is passing the server and maybe will never say anything ever. But the fact that you're coming out, sticking your neck out, and posting work for feedback for everyone to look at, that's it takes you have to be able to go for it. So the least I can do is add you to the community tag. That being said, Steve, this door looks sick. Would love some feedback on my latest project. Everything from lighting to textures, composition would be greatly appreciated. There's a short video I made for it. Would love feedback on cinematic shots and things like that as well. Let's open that up also. Oh, that's kind of... There's something weird going on in this video. What is that? Oh, Sandy, long time no see. Yeah, good to see you. Oh, I hope you had a great vacation. Thank you for the resub, by the way. But welcome back. Hope you feel rested. Yo, look at that candle. Bro. Those candles look great. So, there's something very eerie about this video. Is this... So it feels like it's being rendered at 60 frames. And this feels like it's zooming in and not moving, if that makes sense. Funky Doodler. I love it. So the scale of the candles is pretty cool. The size of the gate. Yo, look at these. FOV change? I think that's what's going on, because it feels really odd or jarring. I don't know. Something's off. Man, your attention to detail is really nice. I noticed your particles as well and your candles are not doffing out. There's a option where you can have the candle, the particle render before the post in the particle setup. This should allow you to get that to blur out in the depth of field. Candle tops are very yellow. Yeah, this color, yeah, that does feel a little strange. I think it's trying to fake that subsurface lighting passing through feeling that you get. When you bake in Substance Painter, you can get a thickness map. A thickness map will help you achieve this pretty well. It could be by design. I think it's trying to simulate, like, at least from back here, it really reads as like the glow. But from up here, it looks like the color, not like the emissive. So I think what needs to happen is you have the entire candle this color, but then where you need the light to feel like it's passing through, it just needs to be. It needs to be using a thickness mask that's pushing emissive. That is the color of the wax. Yeah, it could be a linear transition between subsurface scattering and no subsurface scattering. But I think that might be thinking about it too much. I think it's literally just it's been authored that way intentionally, and from back here it looks good. Up close it feels strange. But the door, all these details, this looks great. This looks really nice. I think the tiling of this noise in without motion it looks low res. In motion it looks fine. Do you know what I mean? It blurs out pretty quick too, so you don't really pick up on it. But you've got the mood captured. The walls feel a little like it's stone, right? It just feels a little clean. There could be some gradients in there to help just kind of break it up a little bit. I love this. I don't know, like Lumen is just popping off, I think. Really cool. Really cool work. Yeah, I would just look at the cleanliness of the materials. It doesn't have to go crazy dirty, but it needs to look like it's grounded. You know what I mean? Is it Titania with the lamp? Dude, look at that. That's so sick. So this pinhole style lampshade is sick. It's interesting as this is your reference, but I guess you're using the bottom there for the reference. So you can see on this part here, it's more rounding, and then it comes in, and it instead of coming in, it needs to curve just a bit more. I don't know if that makes sense. Oh, yo. Hey, no problem. Steve's nice stuff, and thank you for submitting your work. Dude, the detail though. You see that? The lampshade like lines? That's crazy. So this is my first object I made without following a tutorial. The stand is made of wood. The neck is bronze, if I remember correctly, and the shade is supposed to be fabric. The textures aren't procedural, by the way. Also, the UVs on the shade are a bit messed up. I use UV squares. Added a UV squares add-on to help me. But still can't seem to fix it. FYI, I made this in Blender 3.0 a few months back and considered it as finished. This feels finished to me. I would put a more, with the light being so bright up here, this bottom part doesn't feel like it's being affected by the light. Hopefully that is clear. Let's go here and take a closer look. So right now, there's a bright light here, right? Let's dupe this up. Let's see if we can pump that up a little bit. Let's go to midtones maybe. No, shadows. So getting some type of gradient in there. I know it should be blocking all of the light, but now let's go to the shadow or the highlights here. And you can see there's some highlights going on here. Really pushing those up will help like pop all that information out. I think there's some midtones in there too. Yeah. So you get all that information and then you're like, okay, if it's that bright up there, shouldn't there be shadows or like lighting here? It feels like there should be. It just is not there. You know? I'm just gonna go crazy here. I know it's like blasting. There's also some crazy compression going on. Oh man. Nice. No, this is not working at all for me. Let me do screen. Oop. And then we let's see here. But you need that highlight. You need to lighten up the top there. That way you get this kind of feeling. And this feels like it's being lit by the scene. Hopefully that is clear. Because I can't doodle to save my life right now. Oh yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. We're reaching the end of the stream, that's for sure. I can feel it in my masking skills. But you can see how much it adds just like getting that information to pop. I'm like, get out of here. Get out of here, Edge. Yeah, I understand. Okay, cool. Cool. I don't have to be a fool anymore. But now I kind of want to, I gotta see this. Hang on. Yes. They give you some nice directional. You're a little confused by the direction of the shot. That is a very good point. I don't know why that's there and why this is here. It should all be coming from here. But the materials feel pretty nice. And, I mean, I think if you don't say anything about the pattern, I don't even notice the issue you're talking about. I still can't actually see it. It just looks like a cool lampshade to me. But super cool. All right. Sebastian. Look at this siege. We've got 2 more and then I got to get out of here. But look at that. This turned out pretty cool, man. The trees are a little hard to read. Like the way the details are kind of like the branches and stuff. Hey. Ah, it's you. Boppin'. I see it in your username now. So I think if there was a way, I mean, it's kind of hard to explain why it would be like this, but taking these elements, I'm just going to poorly mask this out just to highlight it. Nice. If you could get more separation, oh my god. In the details of the bridge versus the backdrop, I think that would work wonders for what we're looking at here. So if we'll just push this down and maybe like push this like the brightness down a little bit, and then we just erase this out. Just getting some separation there really will help like see the bridge more. I think this detail here could also maybe be blurred out. Some nice doff on there. I don't think I can even... No. Cool. Cool. Just gonna grab that whole thing. We'll just... like blurring that edge out so it's quite a bit softer will really like push your attention forward. I'm just gonna like do. Just gonna fake the edge here, so it's not so hard on the edge there. But yeah, getting you to focus here. Getting the bridge to pop out more. Don't be afraid to flatten out the information in the background there. Like back here, all this info, that could kind of just turn into snow, right? Or like atmosphere could kind of just push that back, so that way it's not fighting with for attention with the siege that's happening here. This looks cool though. I don't think I have much else for it. I know you're kind of done with it, so I would say that it's a very busy scene. This shot is actually stronger than the overall shot, just because it's easier to consume. This is also really cool. Some nice material breakdowns. Oh, yo, we got a video. Oh, see, this looks great. So that pan there, let me see what the next shot is. Oh, dude, this is sick. This is way stronger in motion. Way stronger in motion. Yeah, I don't think I have any other comments on this. Yeah, the camera movement, like you're saying, Vince. Getting a constant camera motion would help a lot, instead of the stopping and going and like slowly moving in and then. Yeah, I would put the video first for sure. I'd put the video at the top. I'd put the video at the top, and then I'd actually put this next. But yeah, that video is sick. Here, that's really cool. No other comments. No other comments. Okay, last one here. Oh, wow, we got a 1440p video here. Writer's room. Whoa, wait, what? I'm sorry. So sad. So the dust pieces, it looks like you're using the starter dust, which is totally fine. I would swap out the texture on them and make sure that they doff out as well. Yeah, easing. I would edit out the ease-ins and ease-outs and just think about constant movement. This scene's really strong. Like there's lots of storytelling, which is really sick. This is a few months back. You gave me some Discord critiques on this actually when it was in its initial stages. While I continue on my new scene, I wanted to know what I could have done better on this project or in any general feedback. I think this mirror is really weird to me. There's also the cross-hatch patterns in the window. They mip out. I think that's what's happening, is they're mipping out and then you lose the way that they're connected. You see that there? I'm not understanding why there's paper everywhere. But yeah, it's a really sad story. There's a lot of detail up here that doesn't really match the tone or mood of the rest of the scene. I think going forward, I would just make sure that you're balancing the style of the way you model things. Which demo are you talking about, Tatiana? Or is it Titania? Ooh, I love these breakdowns though. Nice. Yeah, this, you don't need that geometry there. I would remove all of that geo and just like triangulate it. The papers, I'd be careful with like the duplicate patterns that you're seeing here. Yeah, that extra G on the top is not needed. Okay. I think I need to get out of here before before it gets too late. Oh man, hang on. I'm coughing like crazy still. But this developed really well. I think overall it looks good. It's the mirror, some of the logic of the letters, consistency in your bevels and edge detail, and geometry detail, and then diversity in your materials a little bit more so it's not so soft. I think, though, the materials fit well for this type of scene. So well done. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. But thank you, everyone, for hanging out. It was really fun. It was good. And I'll try and stop coughing so much. Oh my gosh. But cool. Okay. I will see you guys soon. Monday. Right? You guys have a good Friday. Thank you everyone for hanging out. Thanks for all the new people posting stuff. And this stream is sick. Dude, leftover chili. Man, leftover chili is the best. Oh my gosh. Yes, please follow the stream if you have not. I'm going to drink some hot tea. I'll follow your visual. I'll follow your lead. And here's the Discord if you would like to join. Ben, thanks for hanging out. Jay, Visual, Boppenheimer, Chili. Dude, what a username. All right. I'll see you guys later. Have a good Friday. All right. Bye.